Hello everyone and welcome back to Gran Turismo 7. As you can see, we are at the Nurburgring, and this race we are doing today will be the Nurburgring 24-hour. And this will literally be a full 24-hour race. That said, I will not be driving the entire thing myself, and it will not be the Nurburgring 24-hour that you might be imagining. Now, back in Gran Turismo 4, there was actually a 24-hour race at the Nurburgring. The field featured a whopping 5 other cars, pulled from a list of, I think, 16 different options. So, for this event, I've decided to, as closely as I can, recreate those 16 cars in Gran Turismo 7. Some of them are the exact cars they should be. Some others certainly are not. I've also assigned driver names to each of our opponent's cars. Some are Nürburgring 24-hour drivers from the past and present, or just the relevant drivers to their cars, such as a couple of the GT300 class cars that raced in the Nürburgring 24-hour back in GT4. But we will see them when we get to the grid sequence. And seeing as Gran Turismo 7 allows us to have a maximum of 20 cars on the grid, I decided to fill up the rest of the spaces with a few wildcard entries, which we'll see racing as well. Some of them, such as the one you can see on screen now, the Toyota Yaris, are absolutely insane. But we will see them when we get to the grid sequence. But first, let's check out our own car for the event. It's not this one. And so here is our car for the event. It is the same Nissan R33 Skyline GTR that we used for the Bathurst 6-hour a while ago, though it has undergone a few upgrades since then. The main thing is more horsepower, but also has racing soft tyres now, to help it keep up in, amongst much faster cars in the Nürburgring 24-hour compared to the production-based Bathurst 6-hour. And we've also gone with the slotted racing brake discs for this one as well. But livery-wise, there have been a few changes as well. Pigeon Pants stay on board as our major sponsor. But we have a bunch of new ones as well. Red Bull are on board, PlayStation are on board as well. We still have Gran Turismo, we still have Arai, we still have Ouagadougou on the back. We have Auto House on board now. The car is looking a lot more full. We have little Red Bull logos everywhere. And yeah, the car generally is just a bit more complete. We have a nice map of the Nürburgring there to fill in that little blank space. We have Advan on board for the rims now. For this event, we have Yokohama on board for those racing soft tyres, and we also have some flowers and checkered flags on the front. I can't actually remember why I added those, to be honest, but they're there now. Oh, and we've got Fujitsubo exhaust systems as well. I don't know if I mentioned them before. But anyway, for this event, I decided to add a little bit of a twist, rather than just driving the full 24 hours myself, which is utterly insane. Back in Gran Turismo 4, there was an option called B-Spec mode, so when you come in for a pit stop, you could hand over to an AI driver to take over for a while, and then when they come in, you can take over and drive yourself once again. So while that feature does not exist in Gran Turismo 7, I have recreated it in this event in a roundabout way. And so we have 3 other drivers that will be racing with us for this event. From 3 different continents, in fact. 4 different continents if you include me. Going from right to left, we have Kitty Von Storm, the owner of our major sponsor, Pigeon Pants. And no, I can't say that with a straight face. Well, that American flag is strange. When you shrink it down really small, it loses its details in a weird way. It kind of looks like an actual night sky. Next up, we have a name familiar to fans of the F1 games in the story mode. We have Mr. Weber. This is definitely not Lucas Weber. Codemasters and EA have copyright on that name, so no, this is Werner Weber. I do like a bit of alliteration. But anyway, He is a German driver who will have plenty of Nurburgring knowledge. That will be very useful for the team. That's why he's here. And last but not least, we have the Japanese driver Sakura Nakamura. This is the driver with the most random backstory. Basically, a few years ago, I started trying to learn Japanese on Duolingo. It didn't go very well, but this is a name that came up quite often, and it always just gave me a laugh because of just how well it rhymes. So she's made it onto the car. In fact, she's made it in the car she's driving. So anyway, that's our car and our drivers. So it's time to see what we're up against. Alrighty, then we get going for the Nurburgring, 24-hour, and already the field are bunching up ahead of us. We're going to make a bit of contact with the back of the Audi A4 there. Chris Mee says the wet spots leak are very slow on the apex. We'll get past them. A bit of a wide moment up there for the Astra. But at the end of all that, we've still come out in last position. No places gained into the first corner as we found the wet spots leak parked on the apex. Another wide moment there. The Astra really struggling at the start of this one. We get a nice run on the wet sports Celica. We get past them and we may grab another spot here into the braking zone. And very late on the brakes. We only just, we're going to spin here and we will not make the corner. We'll spin it back around. It's not an ideal way to get things started here at the Nurburgring. This is only the GP circuit. We haven't even made it onto the Nordschleife yet. So we catch up to the Wed Sport Celica once again. We're going to go for the move down the inside. We actually already passed them into the braking zone and through the chicane. And we'll get the move done. And on the exit, we'll grab the Opel as well as we the Vauxhall Calibra that one is. Now we have a look down the inside of the Opel, bit of contact there with the Vauxhall, and we can't really pass either of them at the moment. They're too busy. We're all scrapping away, and we'll see if we can squeeze the car in around the outside here. This is a sketchy place to be, and we're still not quite able to get the move done. We go for the line down the inside, bit of contact, and we managed to bip and barge our way through. Got the aggressive here at the Nordschleifer, and we get through as we now losing the rear end there, and we've absolutely sent the Astra into the wall there. But regardless, we've made our way ahead with a very rough bit of driving there. But anyway, we've done it, and now we've got the Audi in front of us. Chris Mies at the wheel going down the inside of Maro Engel, and two rivals of the modern day, and Maro Engel in front at the moment as we have a look to the inside, and we have to just wait for a corner we can get alongside. There we go, and get the move done. Now can we grab Maro Engel as well? This rise can be a bit sketchy. We backed off there to make sure the front wheels didn't lift off the ground. Engel on the slide, we're on the slide into the barrier, and we'll have to try and get ourselves going again as Chris Mies is waiting for us. Yellow flag there because the pole sitter, the RE has stopped on the side of the road. So an issue for them, and we've been hit into the barriers again by Chris Mies. That's unfortunate. We are going again. We're down in second last position. We'll re-overtake the Web Sports Leaker instantly though. Move ourselves ahead of them into 18th place. Alright, let's have a little look at a replay then, see if we can figure out what happened to the RE Amamia Astra Touring Car as the Audi is closing in. What caused the spin here for the RX-7? Down the inside goes the Audi, and the RX-7's off into the wall and spinning now across the road. Thankfully there was a bit of a break in the traffic, otherwise there would have been a massive collision there. He manages to pull it up just off the racing line and desperately moves it off the road, and now awaits his turn to get moving again. That's unfortunate for the RE Amamia RX-7, and they have a lot of work to do as they wait for the entire field to go by before they can get going again. What a shame. After starting on pole position, they tumble down to last before they even get halfway around the first lap. It's been a chaotic start here at the Nurburgring at 24-hour. Now we'll go for the move down the inside, and a bit of contact there, and we just can't get this move done on the Calibra. It's been giving us trouble all day. They go wide though, big lunge down the inside, and now I know why they went wide. Okay, catch up to the Calibra once again. We have great straight line speed along that section, and we get past them for the next left-hander. Next up is the Opel Astra. See if we can make an overtake on them soon as we head around to the right. We're trying to find an opportunity. We'll just squeeze through down on the left-hand side there. Got Chris Mies in front of us now in the Audi. Let's see if we can make the move on him at some point in the very near future. Let's see if we can go to the... He's doing a very good job of being everywhere we want to go. But anyway, we go to the left and eventually we'll get the move done there. Move ourselves ahead of Mies in the Audi. Car in front of us now is the ASL Goraya, and we'll see if we can get past them. They're very slow compared to us through this section, but the Nurburgring very difficult to overtake, but we'll get through eventually. Cluster of cars in front of us, tail-ended by Maro Engel in the Mercedes, the 190E. So let's see if we can potentially make the most of this lot, all scrapping away in the recent past, as we are slowly edging ourselves closer. The curbs here are so rough, as you can see. We just touched one of them and it sends the car up in the air, which is actually why I wanted to keep the stock suspension, because it can soak up the curbs better than stiffer race springs that will just bounce the car. Given how much I love hitting the curbs, I think it's worth the trade-off as we go off the road there, and that's 3 places lost for us as we drop back behind the Opel Astra Manuel Ruta. Get a good run on the exit though. We'll make the move potentially around the outside. We cut them off rather aggressively there, but we'll get through. Now we're catching up to Chris Meese again. I think we're coming up to the second carousel now. Let's see if we can potentially make a move here. We'll go stay in the carousel out of the exit, and we'll get past Meese as well as the Garaya. Oh, contact! And that is a spin. The Razzo Silvia. That's unfortunate. Just an awkwardly timed bit of contact there, as they were a lot slower into that section, so that's a shame. But anyway, we'll move on from that as they will recover from the little incident. You get past Moro Engel, as well as the Toyota MR8 will get past the Cusco Impreza, and oh, bit of contact there. That's not going to end well. Trying to save the car here along the straights, not an easy task. And we spin around, and now we're a sitting duck as everyone else goes blazing past. We just pull off to the left here, give them the racing line. We're building up the speed again though, and I think we're stabilized the situation once again. We'll get back up the inside. Now we'll get back past the Toyota MRS, as well as Maro Engel's Mercedes, the Cusco Impreza, the Spoon S2000. We'll get past a lot of them. Now, oh, bit of contact with the Schmitz BMW. We'll stick the nose in here and muscle our way through on the inside. We have ourselves ahead of Speed Schmitz. Next up we have Marizo in the Toyota Supra. We'll squeeze down the inside. We'll get the move done. Oh dear, I've just spun on my own. That's embarrassing. Wasn't even around another car. Sorry, Sabi. That was a bit close. Back around the outside of Speed Schmitz. And now we'll get back down the inside of the Toyota. We eventually now catch up to the Schultz Motorsport GTR, driven by Kazunori Yamauchi. Get the move done on the exit. Now we catch up to the Alfa Romeo, Marini at the wheel. If we're able to do anything at the carousel. This used to be a drainage basin, and the drivers worked out that driving down there is faster than actually going up on the racetrack, the flat section at the top, so they just sort of incorporated it in the end. Move around the outside, bit of contact. We'll get through, muscle our way past. A little battle in front of us between our GTR friend and the Audi. Audi in front at the moment. We'll swing past both of them. Oh dear. Oh dear, 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 oh dear. Oh, don't hit me. Okay. That was close. So we dropped ourselves into 6th position again. So the re-overtaking begins. A little GTR battle going on up there. Let's see if we can join it. Make it now 33, 4 and 5 all scrapping away at once. Oh, wide moment there for Yamauchi. Get the power down, see if we can make the most of that. She's got a pretty good exit though. See if we can make the move as the revs build. We'll go for a look down the inside, and Yamauchi gives us the room to get through. Got Kinoshita in front of us now in the Falcon GTR, and once again we'll make the move down the inside. He's giving us a bit more of a fight. We'll swing back to the inside. We'll get past him there. Alright, we finally catch up to the Audi again as we come up to the scary corner. See if we can make the move over the hill. Front wheels off the ground briefly. We'll get ahead. Alright, caught up to the Chaparral. Maybe around the outside here. No space. I keep pressing the blinkers. Here we go. Good exit. And we finally get through. I think we've got it this time. We can survive the jump. Oh. Alright, so we're halfway through our stint. We've got a big gap to the Toyota Yaris in front, so let's see if we can close the margin. I have sight of the leader. Purple sector. Might still do it actually. There we go. Sub 9:30. Fastest lap of the race. Oh, they're going into the pits. Goodness me, Yaris has just gone past already. We need to box this lap. Oh, that's not pit entry. I thought I missed it. Turns out I missed it. Alright. We come into the pits. Get a new set of soft tyres. And yep, that is the end of our first stint. So just under an hour into the race, it is time for Kissy Von Storm to take over for the first time. But it has become apparent that our fuel consumption is quite high, so she'll need to manage that while trying to maintain the pace. So Kissy Von Storm takes control for the next couple of hours in the race, weaving to get some heat into those Yokohama tyres, and we'll finally get going out through the rest of the Grand Prix circuit and eventually out onto the Nordschleife for the first time. But it's going to be an interesting phase of the race. We had a pretty good pace. It'll be interesting to see if Kitty can match it with the Toyota Yaris that has been so dominant in the first hour of the race. We'll see if that continues throughout this stint. Unfortunately though, later in the stint, Kitty started feeling the pressure from not one but two cars. Boris said in the Chaparral 2D and Kazunori Yamuchi in the big GTR in the background giving chase. So yeah, unfortunately not quite the same pace, so there's a bit of a slide there for the Chaparral. We fast forward later in the lap then towards the carousel, and now Borishead's going for the dive into the carousel, and Kitty's forced up wide onto the flatter section of that corner, not able to carry the same mid-corner speed out into the wall there, and that allows Kazunori through as well. Japanese driver moving himself up into third position. Unfortunately, towards the end of that stint, Kitty started feeling the pressure from the fifth place car as well, the Cusco WRX, throwing it all on the line, trying to catch up, but that never eventuated into any wheel-to-wheel action. They just couldn't quite gain that last bit of ground to close the gap. Next up in the car was Werner Weber, who continued to save fuel. Thankfully, he was able to hold his position and finished his stint in fourth place. So he didn't lose any further ground, which is great, but also didn't gain much either. So hopefully we can start moving ourselves forwards again, because if we sort of drop back any further, we'll be losing touch with the race leaders. Meanwhile, up the road, the battle between the GTR and the Chaparral 2D ended with the Chaparral running wide, and that allowed the GTR through. It'll be interesting to see if the GTR can now catch up to the Toyota Yaris that has been so dominant in the early phases of this race. For the next stint, as the sun started to set on the Nordschleife, we put Sakura Nakamura in the car to take control for the next couple of hours, and once again she did a fairly sturdy job and just again managed to hold on to that fourth place. But it's all a bunch of cars, all seem to be fairly similar on pace. Our GTR, along with the Chaparral 2D, the BMW behind, driven by Sabine Schmitz at the moment, also being a solid contender. So we're going to have to watch out for them, as well as also trying to chase down that Toyota Yaris that has been so dominant in the early phase of this one. We'll see how that continues. But at the moment, as we prepare to get into the car once again, we sit in fourth position on track. So 7 hours into the race, we're ready for our first double stint, up to 2 hours in the car. So out of pit lane we begin our next stint then, and this one is a hefty one. We're in the twilight now, so it's only going to get darker and darker from here. And just straight fourth wall for a moment, you've probably started to figure out that every stint that I'm showing is actually a separate race being recorded. So I'm actually recording this as I think 11 different races, just so that if something happens, if there's a power blackout, a game update, something happening in between all this recording, I don't lose the entire race, because that would be very annoying. Every time we turn this corner, it just feels like it gets darker. Whoa, hello there. Oh, we're cruising along nicely. We have Audi comes blazing on through. Ooh, okay, got a little bit deep there. Oh, we're getting back past Sabine Schmitz now along the straight. It's very nice. And we may get the Audi as well. Nah, too awkward to go ahead and do it in this part of the circuit. You just have to throw the car into these corners and hope it sticks. Just go absolutely full send. You draw alongside the Audi. There's a little bump there. We'll get back ahead. Did I just see the chaparral? Or am I just starting to see things that aren't there? I swear it's like just around every corner I feel like I see it sneaking around. But it's just like every time I round a corner it's just like just up there. Oh no, it is definitely there. I'm not just imagining things. We have definitely caught up to the chaparral. Alright, catching up to the chaparral 2D, Boris said. Let's see if we can make our way past around the outside. I believe Boris said is the most recent American driver to win the Nurburgring 24-hour, giving another crack here in the chaparral 2D. Maybe an old car, it's got plenty of horsepower. And it ain't too bad through the corners either. It's quite light. Alright, roaring alongside Boris said now, and we'll get through. He doesn't give us too much trouble. He realises that we're faster at this stage of the race as we are starting to get a rhythm around the various turns and twists and ups and downs of the Nordschleife. Actually feeling pretty good at the moment. This has actually been a really good lap so far, to the point we've caught up to Kazunori Yamauchi. That was Kazunori Yamauchi in the GTR, and we're going to get fast. We're now ahead of the fully fledged GT3 car in this race. We've only got 0.7 of a lap of fuel left, so we do need to box on this lap anyway. Put more fuel in the car. But we've made our way back up into second place during this fuel stint. But into the box we go. I almost missed that. So we got over an hour left in this race, so we'll probably have to make another pit stop right before the end of our stint, which is a little annoying, but anyway. We wait for our car to show up in the pit lane. Here it comes. We'll get a new set of tyres on, and of course fill it up with a fresh load of fuel. Bonk. I need a drink. Oh, it's closed. Okay, just finished that in time. Alright, we're back out in third position. It looks like Kaz got back past us, but looks like Boris said is still behind. No pressure from behind then. We'll just push on, see if we can re-overtake Kaz, and then get after that Yaris. Alright, brought up to Kazunori Yamauchi once again. Driven around this circuit many times has Kaz, but we got the drive off the corner. And we'll make our way past. So we are into full darkness now. Just under an hour left in our stint. And we are gaining on the race leader. I think I can see them ahead of us, unless that's a lapped car. There is 100% a car up the road. And they appear a little fast to be someone a lap down. We just need the right moment. Go for that overtake. Is it here? Down the inside. We're going for it. We're going a little bit deep. But we get through. We keep it on the road and we take the lead of the Nurburgring 24-hour. Oh, back around the outside. Good traction on the exit and straight away back through. The power up the hill. Oh, the Toyota's made a pit stop. So we're in the lead of the race now. Later on that same lap though, Yaris has caught up. We're off the road again. Yeah, they go. Campbell is through. We just don't have the grip to match him. You can see the stars in the sky now. It is well and truly late at night here. It's past my bedtime, but I need to finish this stint. of the race. And I'll probably have a very early morning stint as well. It's only just getting darker now, so in, 6.5 hours I'll be getting back in the car. Probably be a sort of early morning stint, so we get both of the stints. That can be quite tricky in terms of visibility, the sun going up and the sun coming down. But it is really cool to see the transition of time as we go through. There's another car. Another car up the road. Might be able to put someone a lap down for the first time. It is the Spoon S2000 race car who pulls off into the pits right before we get to them. We're right up to the back of the Yaris now, and we're both fighting for traction, and we get great run, and we'll retake the lead as we begin the lap. Oh, Campbell trying to go for the move around the outside. Contact! Into the wall we go. Campbell get through into the lead. I can say with certainty that when I started this race, I did not expect this car to be our main rival. I thought the Chaparral 2D and the Nissan R35 would be the ones that are up there giving us, giving us a good race with them, but apparently the little Yaris had other plans. It does have a lot of upgrades on it, to be fair. It's not just a standard Yaris. We get past though, and now down the inside, as long as we can get this stopped nicely for this right-hander, we'll have the race lead once again. As the Yaris comes back at us on exit, and they're going to retake the lead. Nothing we can do about that. We're on the back of Campbell again, and we'll muscle our way through on the inside. Oh, I think we almost shoved him into the wall. I think we left him just enough room there. I think there was a Yaris width plus about 2 millimeters. Oh, he's in the wall on his own that time, trying to go around the outside. Found out that corner was a little sharper than he remembered. Oh dear. Okay, that's a lost cause. We're spinning. Avoided barriers, but that's a lot of time lost for us now. We're going to need to make a pit stop here. We're using more and more fuel each time. The first time I feel like we're at 0.8 of a lap here. The last time it was 0.7, now it's 0.6, so each stint we're using more fuel, which I guess means we're spending more time on the accelerator, and I guess that roughly translates to meaning I'm being a lot more confident, which is great. We should have plenty of reserve, half a lap, so we won't be at risk of running out at all, but if I push too hard. But anyway, we're into the pits now. And yeah, this I guess will be the end of my stint. Actually, we'll jump out, Kitty Von Storm will take over, and yeah, we'll go from there. Unfortunately, as darkness really set in late in the night here at the Nurburgring, Kitty lost a little bit of pace, and the R35 GTR GT3 was able to get past the Schultz Motorsport entries, up now into second position. And by the look of things, the Chaparral 2D may be making their way past soon as well. The Chaparral now really starting to put the pressure on, and now potentially looking for the move. Going to stay behind for the time being as Kizzy slides a little bit wide there. Is that going to be the opportunity the Chaparral needs to get past? They're going side by side, and now the Chaparral trying to go all the way around the outside. It's difficult to see through the darkness. The Chaparral's through and gets ahead, and Kitty Von Storm drops into 4th position. Towards the end of Kitty's stint, it began to rain, so we put Werner Weber into the car, as he has the most Nürburgring experience, especially at night. And that turned out to be a very good decision because, well, in the early morning the rain just got heavier and heavier, and despite the fact he was able to close up to the Chaparral 2D once again, he would ultimately finish the stint in the 4th position, although keeping the car on the road in these conditions is enough of an achievement in itself. Meanwhile, at the front of the field, the Toyota Yaris that has been so dominant throughout the early phase of this race really started to slow down in these conditions. That thing is pushing over 700 horsepower, and it just isn't working in these conditions. It's too much, and they really started to struggle, and now the Nissan GT3 car is catching up and is surely going to make the move here, and they get through. and Kazunori Yamauchi in the Nissan GTR now takes the lead of the Nurburgring 24-hour. We move on to the early dawn, and Sakura Nakamura takes the wheel of the car, and you can see the sky beginning to get lighter now. The rain has completely stopped, and the track is once again dry in this phase of the race, and the Toyota Yaris has dropped into third position, and we're just hoping that Nakamura can close that gap and potentially take that place by the end of the stint. So they have a big slide there. That said, they were literally just able to get back past the Chaparral 2D, so maybe they are starting to sort out their problems. On board with the Sakura Nakamura now, and she makes the move down the inside of the Chaparral 2G, so maybe it's a Chaparral struggling this phase of the race, gets through and moves up into third position for us, so that is great. And we are back onto the podium, although she goes a bit deep into the first carousel, and the 2D gets back through. So unfortunately we are still in fourth place once again. Not too much else came from this phase of the race. The Schultz Motorsport GTR just stretched the gap back to the trio of cars fighting for second place. Then it was my turn to drive once again. Unfortunately, our next stint started with a tangle with one of the lapped cars, and that sent us both into the barriers. It was the Falcon Star GTR that we collided with. The repairs took a while. By the time we came out, we had lost several places, and still a bunch of lapped cars around us that we had to contend with, including the Cusco Impreza that we were very nearly making contact with there. We now catch up to Sabine Schmitz once again in the BMW. This is another battle that's been raging on. Sabine Schmitz versus Markus Winkelhock. BMW and the Audi respectively. Two German drivers fighting it out here at the Nordschleife. It is the Toyota Supra up the road, Marizo at the wheel. Look at the straight line speed of that thing. Getting back past the Audi and Markus Winkelhock as we get past Sabine Schmitz. And now close in to Markus Winkelhock ourselves, and we'll make the move on him. And we might even get Marizo in the Toyota as we throw it in to this little tight S section here. And we do get through, and we now catch up to the Toyota Yaris, which is still struggling for pace. They have once again been re-overtaken by the Chaparral 2D. They are once again up into the race lead now. Actually, they've gotten past Kazunori Yamauchi in the Nissan R35 GTR GT3 car, so they're once again in first place as we go for the big lunge down the inside. We've gone too deep though, and that move will not work for us, and we might actually drop a couple of spots here back behind Markus Winkelhock. As we tap the wall there, Sabine Schmitz now will be putting the pressure on, but I think we'll be okay. No, again. And Schmitz gets through. Oh, Henry. Sabine Schmitz now putting the pressure on the Audi. So let's see if she can get back past. But we were able to get through with a nice run on this straighter section. We can use our top speed to our advantage there. Oh, now we have a good run on the Toyota. Oh, a bit of a bump as we try and get down the inside. We can't get there. To wait till the straight itself. We'll line it up, sit in the slipstream. The acceleration, it's actually pretty similar as we get towards the top end. I think we've got a little bit more, and we do. And we'll be able to get past the Toyota Supra. Oh, I think they must have just hit their top speed as they seem to slow down a little bit right at that moment. But the Yaris clearly has a little bit more in the top end than the Supra, as we're both leaving them behind. Let's see if we can make the move on the Yaris here. We'll get past, and we now move ourselves up into third position. Now we need to chase down the Chaparral 2D and the Nissan GTR that have taken over the reins at the front of the field. At the moment, it's the Chaparral that leads the way. Also, I'm not sure what it is, but the right side of my controller is vibrating at the moment. I'm not sure why. Only the right side. so. Leaving a little trail behind us. Had a bit of moisture on the road. Oh, it's raining alright. Alright, interesting little turn of events now. The rain has started to come down yet again. We haven't driven in the rain, that was all done by our teammates, so this is interesting to get used to. We've got the wipers on, of course, in these conditions, as we're having to go very steady here. Oh, and we've caught up to the Chaparral 2D very quickly. They might have had a moment, or perhaps they're just really struggling in these conditions, but we make our way through, and they are really struggling. We are on racing soft tyres. The rain has now passed for the most part, but the track is wet still, of course. But yeah, with these racing soft tyres, it does make things rather difficult for us in the rain. Slick compound, of course, so no treads, and not much ability to displace the water. Only the four-wheel drive system helping us. It is making a big difference, because look at that, we've caught up to Kaz in the big GTR R35 GT3, and we're going to make the move around the outside. It gives us the room, and we take the lead. And it was a very slow maneuver at that part of the circuit. I think one of the slowest corners on the circuit. Whoa. Sabine Schmitz out of nowhere. Whoa, spinning there for us into the wall. That was out of nowhere. Sabine Schmitz out of nowhere, though, taking the lead. As we had a few little incidents there in a row. Sabine Schmitz absolutely loving these conditions. Nicely done. It's Burrito in the Supra. It was the other car that got past us. I didn't note that at the time because I didn't see who it was. That short shower of rain has completely changed the running order in this race. We get back past Burrito along the big long straight. We're catching up to Sabine Schmitz as well. This car has absolutely supreme straight line speed, as this is going to be difficult. Okay. Oh, bit of a moment there. Sabine Schmitz gets through, bit of contact, gets past. Circuit's in a very tricky state at the moment, with a dry line and it's still being wet on the verges. We have to make sure we keep it within the margins. Probably explains why Sabine Schmitz is doing so well in these conditions. Plenty of experience around this circuit. It's all clear skies here again at the Nurburgring. Not a cloud in sight, as it is time for us to come in to the pit lane once again for our mid-stint pit stop. We get back past Sabine Schmitz in a straight line, showing off once again the straight line handling of this car. We now dive into these tricky corners yet again. Getting through there pretty well this time, actually. Pretty happy with that. Run through that section. Now we head into the pit lane. We'll fill it up with fuel. Get another set of the racing soft compound tyres on the car. We'll get ready for the next stint. Oops, I just clicked the OK button before the fuel tank was completely full. Hopefully this is enough to get to the end of our stint. It'll be a little bit tight. That was a little mistake on my part. In fact, this entire fight at the front of the field is not covered by much at all. Those three are all line astern. We're just closing up to the back of them now. And now we've joined the party at the front. Let's see if we can make the move on Kaz somewhere soon. Perhaps we'll be able to make the move to the outside. Yes, we will. And we'll make our way up into third place. Getting on the brakes there, easy mistake to make, it's not flat out. We've got Marizo up next in the Toyota Supra. Oh, goodness me. This section of the track is quite sketchy, but we go through on the Toyota. now we chase down the race leader, Sabine Schmitz. Here comes the jump. Woohoo! Alrighty, here we go, lining up the move along the straight, sitting in the slipstream, and we'll pop out and move done in a straight line relatively easily there. We're picking ourselves up into first place once again here in the Nurburgring at 24-hour. Still early hours of daylight here. We're heading into the closing stages of the race very soon though. Holy macaroni. That's a bit of a loss to the rear end. Sabine Schmitz has dropped into 4th place now. And it's now Marizo who leads the way ahead of Kazunori, so the GT4 car is in the lead of this race. Unbelievably quick actually for a Group 4 car. See if we can make the move down the inside of the big GTR. Muscle our way through up into 2nd position. Catching up now once again to the Toyota Supra in front of us. Let's see if we can make the move. Okay, alright. Alrighty, power down in the slipstream. And we pick the narrow side so we get through, move ourselves up back into 1st place yet again. Let's see if we can hold it for more than 3 corners before going off the road again. That would be a no. We cannot. Alrighty, catching up to the Supra once again towards the end of the back straight. We're going to go for the move. We have to send it here, side by side, banging doors into the braking zone. Oh, they're getting very tight. Banging doors and panels and wheels all the way through there. And we will eventually get in front. This is the last lap in our stint. We need to stretch away if we can and try and open up the gap behind so that when Izzy Von Storm gets into the car next, there's a big gap to the group behind. Oh, we've been pit maneuver there by the Supra. We'll hold on to the position though. Or will we? Around the outside goes the Supra and they get through. And we've only got half a lap of fuel left, so we need to come in on this lap anyway. We have enough time to regain the lead. It's going to be close. It's going to be very close, but I think we'll just about get there as we're going to make the move to the inside. And we will make the pass for the lead. Tapping the brakes. And now hard on the brakes. Oh, too deep, too deep, too deep, too deep. Okay, well, we couldn't quite make the move for the lead, but this is the end of our stint anyway, so we'll come into the pits. We'll hand over to Kitty Von Storm. The crew will put a new set of tyres on. These ones have seen better days, and of course refill the tank to the top this time. This will be the final stint for Kitty Von Storm. Ditto that for Werner Weber up next, and then it'll be a short one for Sakura Nakamura. Then we will do the run to the flag. Kitty Von Storm was up next in the car. She had a very solid stint, carving through the traffic and eventually catching up to the Toyota and making the move for the race lead down the inside. Very nicely done there. Kitty Von Storm growing ever more confident with the car and making that lovely move there into 1st position, something we really struggled to do throughout our stint. But Kitty Von Storm doing it with confidence there. And that is where she stayed the remainder of her stint in the car. Throughout the morning, things started to normalise once again. The Chaparral 2D and the Toyota Yaris that have had great pace throughout the early phase of the race began climbing their way through the field once again and currently find themselves in a train of cars that they'll need to work their way through. The Toyota Yaris in particular showing that they are not going to be holding back in this fight as they chase the group ahead, and then through this left-hander they have an absolutely monumental slide and they managed to save it, but they are absolutely pushing the limits and finding them there. Meanwhile, at the front of the field, the fight really started to heat up between the top 3 or 4 cars as the fight for second was on side by side between the Supra and the big GTR, and the GTR gets through, moves up into 2nd position, Supra dropping down into 3rd. The pressure is really building now for Weber, and late apex there for the Schultz GTR, trying to get the run along the next relatively straight section as they head towards the carousel. Can he make the move here? Weber goes wide, and the Schultz GTR gets plunged down the inside, and the move works. Moves himself up into first position, and we're down into second place. The Toyota Supra watching on in third, still well and truly in contention. But at the moment, the Schultz GTR leads the Nurburgring 24-hour once again. So with just 3 hours left in the race, Sakura Nakamura will now take over for a 1 hour stint, and then we will do the run to the flag from there. And Sakura Nakamura was very much able to make her final stint of the race count, not only holding off the two cars behind, the Toyota Supra and the Chaparral 2D, which has very much come back to fight towards the end of this one. Towards the end of her stint, she actually catches up to the Schultz Motorsport GTR, and now trying to make the move down the inside. It's going to be a little bit late, bouncing off the inside curb, but getting the move done and taking the race lead. Brilliant stuff there by Sakura Nakamura, and just in time for us to get into the car for the final 2 hours of the race. All we need to do is bring it home. She's put us in prime position. Let's do this. Alrighty, so we get going for our next stint in the race, and we come out of pit lane in the race lead. So all we need to do is try our best to hold on to this position. Fortunately though, the Schultz Motorsport GTR, Kazunori Yamauchi back at the wheel to finish this one off, has other ideas. Makes the move around the outside. We'll see if we can get back down the inside. We go a bit deep. Let's keep this on the road. Sliding it around, and we get a bit of a hit there off the road, and we might lose second position as well. We do, as we do manage to hold on to third, ahead of the Yaris and the Chaparral 2D, both in the fight here at the end as well. It's sunny conditions here now. The rain that fell overnight seems to be long gone, so hopefully we can have a nice clean run to the end with no weather interference. That's a not ideal situation for us there. Losing a position to the Chaparral 2D as we a little bit on the grass there. Oh! That section is one of the most difficult on the circuit. We managed to save it, but the Yaris gets past. Oh, and the Winkelhock Audi as well. We haven't seen much of him. He's coming to the front towards the end of the race now. He's been just hanging back off the lead fight, but he's been the next best car. Maybe the Audi is coming strong towards the end of the race. We get back past as we now set our sights on the Yaris once again. It's holy macaroni. Seem to be getting a little darker at the start of lap number 2. A lot of clouds around now. I can see a bit of weather approaching on the radar in the bottom right, so maybe it's not quite over yet. In terms of the rain, it was only about 10 minutes ago we noticed that it was completely sunny, but now, just one lap later, it is full cloud cover, and look at the radar, there's a lot of rain coming. As we get back past Sabine Schmitz, and front wheels off the ground there, and once again we lose control at that very corner that has caused us a few issues so far in this race. And we get re-overtaken by Kinoshita as well. If this rain's coming, it's gonna hit before the end of the lap. There's no way we can outdrive the speed that this rain is coming. We're gonna need full wet tires, and we're gonna need them about halfway through this lap. Oh, understeer there. And yeah, we lost a position to Larini. Actually only looks like a very thin band of rain. It's a little surprising actually. But you can see how dark it is. You can see when I'm flashing the headlights here that it's making a real difference to the brightness. It looks like it's nighttime again. Well, the weather is doing strange things here at the Nurburgring, that is for sure, but visibility has had a significant drop now. It's absolutely pouring down We're caught up to Larini once again. We'll make the move down the inside. Oh, losing the rear end there. Into the wall. Get going pretty quickly though. Oh wow. Oh, that's so much understeer right there. We just could not turn. Thought we could carry more speed than the two in front of us. That was certainly not the case. Oh goodness me. The track is so wet right now. There's a very thin band of heavy rain, but it dumped a whole lot of water on the track. The Chaparral really struggling in these conditions once again. We're going to be making a move on them very shortly as we go down the inside. That car is not suited to the wet weather at all. It needs everything to be running smoothly to go fast. And in the rain, that thing is just too hard to drive. In fact, we've got a bit of a conga line in front of us now. Tail-ended by Kinoshita in the other GTR. I thought that thing would be good in these conditions, but it's actually Larini in the Alfa Romeo making moves at the moment. We get past the Falcon Star GTR, the Toyota Yaris once again struggling, and everyone going at snail's pace here. There's no grip on the circuit as we try and make our way down the inside. Bit of contact there with the Yaris for a very low speed though, so it won't be too consequential, but this is going to be a very tense part of the race. Is it even worth pitting for intermediate tyres though, because the track will be drying up soon. The rain is already clearing, so it'll be interesting to see what everyone does. I think we might run, or even the full wet tyres might be more applicable as we make the move down the inside and take second position. So this rain is really suiting us, and the four-wheel drive helping us put the power down and carry a bit more speed out of the corners than everyone else around us. The R35 GTR of Kazunori Yamauchi is the only one able to really tolerate these conditions on the slick tires, as we're sliding all over the place. There's no sense of traction at all. We're doing our best to hold on, but we are actually gaining time on the R35, so we are doing pretty well for ourselves in these conditions. Huge slide there though. We are just about keep it off the wall. We're 360 and we'll continue on, losing a lot of pace and momentum though as we try and put the power down. A bump from behind from Sabine Schmitz, an expert around this circuit, certainly knows how to deal with these conditions as we now push on. Oh, another loss of the rear end. The rear end. Goodness me, what happened to my voice? Oh, the carousel really gets you through there. But just every time we try and put any amount of power down, the car just snaps sideways, and it takes about half a century to save it and get it pointing in the right direction again. It's like racing in slow motion here at the Nurburgring. Sabine Schmitz makes the move onto the straight, and the Winkelhock Audi gets through as well as the Yaris. We're really struggling on the start of this straight. Once we get some momentum, oh no, we're spun, and that is going to send us tumbling down the order. There's no stopping this spin. Now we finally get going again. We lost so much time in that. The wet verge of the track catching us out there, and we have dropped significant ground. We're down into P12. Oh, there's been a bit of an incident there. Larini, he was doing so well in these conditions. And the Winkelhock Audi as well. And there's the Schultz GTR, the race leader. We've been penalised for overtaking through yellow flags. We'll serve that at some point at the end, at the start of that straight on the following lap to this one, as we run into the back of the Chaparral 2D. Boris said they're really struggling. We're going to come into the pits. We need to put some full wet tyres on, because this is not okay. We cannot drive like this. We're probably only going to use them for 1, maybe 2 laps at the most, maybe even half a lap. It might be all we need them for. We'll see how quickly the track dries up, but we need these tyres on the car because the slick tyres just cannot handle these conditions. Alrighty, so let's unpack what happened here at the end of the straight. Huge slide going on there for Campbell into the wall, and there was no saving that. That was going on for a good few seconds. Now he's out of control, drifting along the straight, and he might actually manage to save it here as he scrubs the speed off, and he does. Well done, Matt Campbell. mega save to not turn that into a bigger incident. And whatever chaos happened behind, Matt Campbell was not involved in that. The next car on the scene was Marcus Winkelhock. Let's see what happened to him this part of the circuit. If he got away with it any better, he follows Campbell into the wall, swings one way, swings the other, and eventually I think he's going to go for a full spin in the background there as Matt Campbell crosses the frame in first position, and it looks like Sabine Schmitz was able to get through cleanly, as well as the Supra, the Audi there as well. So a number of drivers, the Astra Touring RX-7, Boris said, getting through. So a few drivers were able to get through there cleanly, but not everyone, that is for sure. Marcus Winkelhock potentially getting the worst of it. We now go on board with Larini. We saw he was absolutely loving these conditions, but we'll see how it unfolded for him at this very treacherous corner. I didn't think this one was that tricky, but everyone else struggling with it. Larini does exactly what the cars in front do. He goes for a full spin straight away. No ability to save the car there. And oh, that was so close. I believe that was Boris said, blazing on past millimeters in front of Larini's spun car. And he resumes right behind Marcus Winkelhock where he was before, just much further down the field. We go on board now with Sabine Schmitz. Let's see how a Nurburgring Pro handles this. The Supra going full send down the inside, and oh wow, that was awkward. Schmitz getting through though, and everyone else going spinning off in front. Just no ability to hold traction, but Schmitz made the most of it and gained a number of places there, so well done. She's up into second position now. Oh, a huge slide there though. I think she will make the wise decision and come into the pit lane for the wet tyres. A Nurburgring Pro knows exactly when it is time to give up track position for the preferential tyre. We now go on board with the Toyota, and good straight line speed even in the wet conditions. Doesn't affect that thing too much in a straight line, of course. And then wasn't really going full send up the inside as much as just couldn't stop for the corner. But a bit of contact with Schmitz, but he was able to ultimately make the move and navigate this very treacherous few corners that caught out a lot of other drivers. So well done to Marizo at the wheel of the Toyota Supra to get through all this cleanly, and even thinking about a move there on Schmitz. We now go on board with Kazunori Yamauchi. He was in the race lead coming onto the straight, but an absolute eternity of wheel spin. Goodness me. There's Matt Campbell going blazing on through, as well as everyone else. Marini, as well as Sabine Schmitz and Marizo all getting through. And yeah, there goes Chris Meese. And I think that was Manuel Ruter as well, so he's getting absolutely swamped on the straight. Is he actually stuck in gear perhaps? There may be something wrong with that car, but whatever it is, he's got no straight line speed, so there could be an issue for that car at the moment, as he backs it off into the left-hander, keeps it on the road nicely, as there's been a bit of warning at this point of the incident. So how did he get involved? Oh, it was Winkelhock come back onto the circuit in front of him, and he had no time to react to that, and that sent him spearing off the road, and he just had to watch the field go by and wait for a clearing to get back on circuit and get racing again. That's really unfortunate for Kaz. No fault of his own there, and he gets sent tumbling down the order. So we fill up full of fuel once again, and we get going back out onto the circuit. Still got the wipers on because there's a lot of spray being kicked up from the cars in front. And yeah, you can see how much ground we've lost. We're behind the Astra Touring Car RX-7. Although they've actually had a good run, they're up into the top 10, so, or up near the top 10 I should say, as we get back past the Garaya as well. The Cusco Impreza in front of us now. We get past them, we're really flying in these conditions now. I'm not sure what tyres everyone else has gone on to, but the full wet's working for us. Boris said there, we get back past him and all around the outside. And actually perhaps these are the drivers that are still on the slicks and struggling, so you can see the difference it's making. We've gained the ground back already, so this is going to put us in very good stead. Anyone who came into the pit lane and putting the intermediate or the full wet tyres on will be significantly better off at the start of this lap as we get past the Opel around the outside. We'll get the move done. Winkelhock as well. We'll get around the outside of him. Yaris there struggling on the apex, and we'll just be taking all of those positions back, and we've already brought ourselves back into contention. The racing line is actually drying up very, very quickly here. No rain on the radar. Who knows if the rain's going to come back. Larini gets past us, and was it worth the switch to these tyres? Now the question begins, because the track is drying up very quickly. There's definitely still water on the curbs and the edges of the circuit, so if we were on the slicks we would have to be driving very accurately right now. So I think I'm happy enough to be on these tyres. They may not be the fastest, but they will serve their purpose, clear the water that we need them to. And at the end of this lap we'll go back onto the slicks, because it's such a long lap. We can't afford to make a wrong call in terms of tyres. Oh, we're really struggling on these tyres though. Can't carry the same speed, and we are losing time and positions, and this rain really has shaken up the order of the race. The RE Amamia Asparagink RX-7 has actually made their way up into the top 5 now. He's been nowhere the whole race, but this rain has been a real reset. We'll see if they're able to hold on to that position throughout, but at the moment they're running very high up the field. I think the track is definitely ready for dry tyres now, but the trouble is, not only are we at the wrong end of the circuit, but also if we do go onto the slicks, if we make a mistake, we're off into what is some still fairly significant amount of water. You can see when we look back, the spray coming off the tyres as soon as we go slightly offline, so it's going to be a tricky transition period. Hopefully that dries up, otherwise this will be a very tricky end to the race. We're getting into a bit of a rhythm now though, getting used to driving on full wet tyres in the dry, and we're actually catching up to the Wed Sport Toyota. We'll have a bit of a progress update on the rest of the field, see how they're all going along at the moment. That is Sabine Schmitz in the race lead, about to head into a pit lane to remove those intermediate tyres that were only useful for about a lap, and then now it is time to get rid of them. So yeah, very short stint. A few other teams readying themselves for pit stops. Larini comes in to the pit lane, and there is the RE Amamia RX-7 currently running up in 5th place, also entering the pit lane. So it's definitely dry enough to go back onto the slicks. We're just going to have to be careful that we don't venture too far off the ideal racing line. We will fill up with fuel once again, and looks like a few others. And Jochen Stuck, the RE Amamia Asparagink, and the Wed Sport Celica as well coming in. Whoa, okay, that's what happens when you're off the racing line in the pit lane. No grip at all as we try and go around the outside, and we immediately take one position, probably by going out of the pit exit lines. So it's a little unfortunate, but anyway, we get that move done, and we have the Wed Sport Toyota in front of us now. Let's see if we can overtake this one. Oh, as soon as we go offline, absolutely no grip. Kazunori Yamauchi trying to make up for lost time, and he's into the pit lane as well. Here's the Nissan Silvia a long way back, just you know, running their own race, this lot towards the back of the field, but still pushing all the time, just in case there is an opportunity. One car that has really, or two cars that have really dropped away. We have the Toyota Yaris that was so dominant at the start of the race, but now really struggling after the rain. And I don't know, maybe they're having some mechanical dramas with that car as well, because they just haven't had the pace in the latter phase of the race. But we'll see how it goes, see if they can go back. But at the moment, they are well down the order. Here is the Audi that was, fighting with us for a while. And they're now running down in 14th position, so they've lost time throughout this period of the race as well. And the Falcon Star GTR has lost a bunch of time and places as well. But running absolutely dead last in the race right now, though, is the Chaparral 2D. And, well, what a disastrous latter half of the race they are having. They're going to have some kind of fight back if they want to recover from this, having dropped all of their track position while it was raining. That is an absolute disaster for a car that has been so quick throughout the entirety of this race, but we saw it in the rain earlier that they were not strong in those conditions, and it's come back to bite them at the end of the day. When some more rain has fallen, they have tumbled down to last. We'll get past the Wet Sport car though, move ourselves up another position. Oh dear, going a touch deep there. We just about stay on the drier parts, but that was very close. Once you get on the wet, which we were just barely on to the edge of it there, it's very hard to recover. We got Larini in front of us now, so let's see if we can close the gap to the Alfa Romeo. In fact, we're doing that right now. We may be able to make the overtake in a couple of corners time. Maybe here, down the inside, and we get the move done. Nice. We go back to Kazunori Yamauchi. He's now found himself, you can't see at the moment, but just up the road is the Wed Sport Celica. So Kaz will be looking to make that move soon up into 6th position. The GTR would definitely have the pace. It's just a matter of finding the right opportunity, and he's going to get it done straight away down the inside. Aggressive move there, but he had to get that done quickly. He can't afford to lose any more time, and that is what will get him back into contention if he continues making moves like that and not getting caught up in the traffic any longer. But still got plenty of work to do, and a few cars still separating us. Alrighty. Been following the Toyota for a while. Now we might be close enough to make the move as we head down towards the first corner. The Audi as well there. Oh, contacts as we got over the rise on the inside. Goodness me. We get past the Audi, but only through a very scary moment. The Chaparral 2D has finally caught sight of another car in this race. They were so far behind. It's taken them almost a whole lap just to catch up to the Spoon S2000, the slowest car in the field. But they've finally caught up and may finally be able to start getting some positions back in this one, starting with P19 if they can make this move stick on the Spoon S2000. They just need to find the right opportunity as they're going to continue fighting for a little while. The Spoon driver Tetsu Ikuzawa not going to let Morissette pass too easily, and you can see the Spoon S2000 still holding off the Chaparral. This is great defense from Tetsu Ikuzawa as the Chaparral really putting the pressure on. It's got better straight line speed, and I think it'll be a lost cause by the time they get back around to the big straight. But for the time being, it's a mighty defense from the Little Spoon. Now down the inside goes the Chaparral, trying to get it turned on the apex. Side by side they go, and the Spoon holds on. The Chaparral not able to get through, and the Little Spoon is just about maintaining the position. This is great racing between these two. It is for last position on track, but they are throwing everything at it and trying their best to get one up on the other. But I think once they get onto this straight, it is going to be all chaparral, as the Spoon just doesn't have the same level of horsepower, the same level of aerodynamics. It is not a purpose-built race car the way the chaparral is, and yeah, the Spoon problem goes away for the chaparral, and they can finally focus on trying to gain some more position further up the road. That probably took them a bit longer than they expected to get past the little Spoon. It's very quick and nimble through the corners, but they got through eventually, and now they can start trying to chase down the next car, which is the Cusco Impreza running in P18. And we focus now back on Kazunori Yamauchi making the move around the outside of the Alfa Romeo, and that is job done up into the top 5 for the Schultz GTR. And nicely done there, and the Alfa Romeo now down to P6. Meanwhile, this fight between the Toyota, the Yamaha RX-7 and the Vauxhall still brewing, but it's still yet to involve any overtaking. But now down the inside goes the RX-7 and just gets the move done. The Toyota still fighting it out round the outside, but not enough momentum to get the move done. Meanwhile, the Chaparral fighting away with the Cusco Impreza and gets through, and the Chaparral moves up into P18. More overtaking going on here in this phase of the race, and that's P18 for the Chaparral. And now the fight for 4th position is on. The Audi under fire from Kazunori Yamauchi. He gets through on Chris Meese and moves himself up another position and into 4th place now. He is really making a charge for the podium towards the end of this one. This is deja vu, isn't it? Once again, we're scrapping away with the Supra. Nice run around the outside. We get back through as we're a little more forceful there. But nonetheless, we're up into 2nd position. We've got the long straight coming up where our car is strong. So no mistakes through the next couple of corners, and we should be able to stretch our lead over the Supra there. Alrighty, we've been pushing hard to try and catch Sabine Schmitz, and we've got the BMW now in sight. Going back to this fight between the Toyota and the Vauxhall, it's also a matter of having strength at different parts of the circuit. You can see the RX-7 just starting to pull away again, so through this part of the circuit they seem to have the pace over the Toyota, and then the defensive moves being thrown may have something to do with that sort of breakaway as well. But the Vauxhall really putting the pressure on. There is absolutely nothing separating those two. He is desperate to get through. Now has the overlap down the inside, and can he keep it there? Running side by side down the inside. He's got the downforce, he's got the grip, and he's got the position. And that is finally the move done up into 8th position ahead of the Toyota for the Vauxhall. We're a little way behind Sabine Schmitz now, but with the straight line speed, top end speed we have along the back straight, maybe we will have an opportunity as the speed builds. We're a fair way back, but we might be able to do something here as we sit behind Sabine Schmitz in the slipstream of the BMW. We are gaining quite rapidly here, and we're going to make a move in a straight line down the inside. And wow, that is a huge speed differential. We get the move done though. Move ourselves into, whoops. Let's not crash the car here at the end of the straight. All right, we saved it. Move ourselves into the race lead as we hit the anchors at the end of another lap here at the Nurburgring. We're just ticking off the laps now as we head into the final hour. At the end of this lap, we'll probably have 6 to go as we run wide, and Sabine Schmitz gets back through. I think this is going to be the battle though, myself versus Sabine Schmitz for the race lead. We'll see if the Chaparral 2D, the Toyota Yaris, or the R35 Schultz Motorsport GTR can get back into the fight. But at the moment, it's between us and the BMW team. The field is starting to normalize itself once again though. Kazunori Yamauchi has brought that GTR back up into 4th position now, though we are still yet to see the Yaris or the Chaparral 2D resurface in the top 8 as we remake the overtake on Sabine Schmitz Back around the outside though, we slowed it down a lot there because we were on the inside line and that corner is very tricky. We survived though, but we remain in second position. Alrighty, we're catching up to Sabine Schmitz once again. We're going to make the move down the inside. Bit hesitant, but we get it done. Oh, Schmitz trying to go around the outside. And still there, side by side. With two wheels on the grass on the inside, losing the rear end. And off the road we go. Sabine Schmitz gets back through. We don't lose too much momentum though, we're still in this fight. Meanwhile, behind, the Chaparral is still continuing to make steady progress in this one, and is looking to make the move on the ASL Garaya, and that's easily done in a straight line, and Chaparral now up into P17. Meanwhile, we go on board now with Kazunori Yamauchi, and this is the fight going on right behind us. He's right behind Marizo in the Toyota, and we'll be looking to make that move very, very shortly, and it'll only be a matter of time. He looks to the inside. Marizo gives him just enough space on the apex, power down. Now a drag race up to the next corner. He's going to have the outside line, but he drives all the way around, and that is a beautiful move. Well done, Kazunori Yamauchi. He's now up into third position. Oh, and now we've got bigger problems because as we have a little bit of an off on the right hand side there, dragging the wheels through the grass again, Kazunori Yamauchi has found his way back into the fight, has run side by side. He stays behind us though, as he was looking for that move though, and now he's just moments away from making it. So he's found his way back up into third position so far. He's got past the Toyota, and now he's looking to make the move on us. Alrighty, we get back past Sabine Schmitz at the end of the straight. We gain several seconds there. That's crazy. Anyway, we're going to bring it into the pit lane, fill up, and then that will get us neatly to the end of the race, I do believe. So in we come for our final pit stop of the race. One more brand new set of the racing soft tyres going onto the car. We'll fill it all the way to the top, and we should use most of that fuel before the end of the race. Be borderline whether it's 5 or 6 more laps, I think. Meanwhile, this fight is ongoing while we're refueling. The Toyota Supra briefly having a run back at Kazunori Yamauchi there, but not able to get the move done. And not too far up the road is Sabine Schmitz in the BMW, so we're all converging towards the front of the field at the end of this one, and it's going to be a very exciting finish as we get into the final stint. Alrighty then, fuel is now done, and we are going back out onto the circuit. Dropped a few spots, but we'll soon get those back once everyone else makes their stops, and on fresh tyres he'll be nice and fast as well. Full tank of fuel. We're ready to go racing. Meanwhile, this fight for the lead is getting spicy between Sabine Schmitz and Kazunori Yamauchi, who's been really pushing hard to close that margin. And after being well down the order with that crash at the start of the stint, he's going to make the move down the inside for the race lead. Schmitz gives him the room, and Kaz gets through, takes first place back, and the GTR is back in first place at long last. It's been a long road to recovery, but he's back in first, and we'll be hoping he can cruise home to victory. Oh, we get back past the Toyota. Seems to be going quite slowly there. Hopefully everything's a-okay with that car. Alright, we get back past Sabine Schmitz as well. Nice little move there. And we're up into P2 once again. Okay, that was a little bit scary. The struggles for the Wed Sport Toyota just seem to be continuing at the moment, as they are now feeling the pressure from the Opel Astra. Wide moment there, losing the rear end, and that's contact with the barriers, and that allows the Astra through. Alright, we go on board with the Wed Sport Celica, Minoru Tanaka at the wheel, and just lost the rear end in the right-hander there. Sends him rightwards into the wall, and that's all the opportunity that Manuel Ruta needed to get through. Here's the onboard with the Opel Astra that have been applying the pressure for a long time, and eventually just a little slide, and into the barrier goes the Wed Sport Toyota. Unfortunate, but they'll push on and still probably finish this race in a decent position. So despite the spin earlier on in the stint in the wet conditions, Schultz Motorsport GTR clear away into the race lead. And it is our job to now give chase. You can see them up the road. They may still have a pit stop to make though, so that will become a factor as well. But for now, we need to try and chase them down, just in case they're going to the end. Meanwhile, Morissette in the Chaparral making the move on Kinoshita and gets through. Nicely done there. And that is another position gain. Kinoshita sends it back down the inside though, so close to contact. Good respect between the two of them. And the Chaparral holds on. But he did not go down without a fight, did Kinoshita. But ultimately the Chaparral is a faster car at this phase of the race. They're starting to find their groove again, it seems, and starting to overtake some of the faster cars in this race. Now right behind Mauro Engel in the Mercedes, going for the move. No, not quite close enough. It seems like a difficult car to make overtakes with, that Chaparral, if that makes sense. But he's making it work at the moment, and now potentially looking for the move down the inside, and that's off into the grass a little bit too. Wheels there off for the Mercedes, but thankfully is able to maintain control of the car. It's a sketchy car, but he's able to hold on. Now Kinoshita going for the move down the inside into the carousel, not able to get the move done there, and he's going to have to wait a little bit longer for another opportunity. But he's in this fight for sure. Catching up to him now, around the outside to the inside, and we get the move done. Kaz is trying to make the move around the outside. We're going to be running side by side here, banging doors. Kaz gets back through in the GTR, gets the position back ahead of us. Oh, he goes a bit deep there. He was actually going wide off the road, and a big mistake there. We're going to just wait a little bit, let him get back into a rhythm. We're really close enough to capitalize on that. Could have gone full send, but that would have just gotten ourselves involved in that incident, so just thought we would be patient this time. We'll get our chance later on. We've got better top end speed, so we'll always be able to make the move on the straight if we have to. Catching up once again through this high speed section. We seem to be very strong here, but it's hard to make a move because you venture off the racing line, we do get through, but as soon as you venture off the line, it becomes all the more difficult to actually make the corners. You have to be fairly precise through here. But we were able to make the move. We're up into the race lead once again. Meanwhile, the RX-7 has caught up to the Audi. That is Shinichi Yamaji making the move around the outside of Christopher Mies. And he might get it done here if he can keep it around the outside. Well done. That is a fantastic move. And this is some great racing we're seeing here at the Nurburgring late in this one. And now finally puts a car between himself and the Vauxhall that's been putting the pressure on. So maybe that could be a bit of a break for the RX-7. And there we go, one lap without going off the road. What's lap time going to be? Is it going to be a personal best? Yes, it is. Nice. We lose the position as we run wide there. And this just drops us down into second place. We may be able to get it back though, as we have a little look to the inside here. And yeah, we'll get back through easily there. Throw it into the chicane. And maintain the position. Oh, Kaz getting desperate there. we still stay ahead? Oh, losing the rear end. Spin it back around. No, this has gone around a few times. We'll lose the race lead once again. Meanwhile, Christopher Mies has decided it's go time and he's putting the pressure on the Mazda RX-7 once again. So potentially he was just running in a lower fuel map, saving some fuel. He gets the move done, and that looked actually rather easy there. So well, it was in the GP section of the circuit, which is a much easier place to overtake than out anywhere on the Nordschleife section. So he's probably glad he could get the move done there, and we'll see if he can stretch away now. But it seems that he still has some pace to burn in the Audi. The Chaparral now catching up once again to the Mercedes and getting the move done side by side and almost off the road for the Mercedes. But he managed to save it. He was out of control there. But Engel, being the professional driver he is, managed to catch that slide. I don't know if that first angle really did justice to how out of control Mauro Engel was there, as he was running side by side with the Chaparral. Just barely kept it on the road, barely caught the slide without making any contact. Brilliant driving. Oh, rollover. What on earth? I mean, we're fine, but what was that? We were driving off through the grass. All of a sudden, oops. We were driving off through the grass, and then all of a sudden, the car ends up on its head. That was bizarre. Alright, future me, remember to grab a replay of that. So now we'll see a replay of that rollover to see exactly how that happened. We ran wide there, and then we'll see what happens. It just flips, almost inexplicitly. That's very bizarre. The car just boink up in the air. Let's slow this down, look at it one little bit at a time. Alright, right there. Did anything happen at that part of... Is there any divots in the ground? Oh wow, you don't actually really see this when you're driving. But in photo mode you can see how much the track really, or how much the ground drops away off the edge of the track. I never realized that. It was so aggressive. Yeah, no wonder the car flipped as this little rut, I guess, came to an end, or we rode up the side of it, one or the other. It flipped the car up and over. Alright, we caught up to Kaz once again. And we're back out onto the Nordschleife part of the circuit. Let's see if we can make the move. Putting the pressure on once again. Goes a little bit wide there. Can we make the move around the outside? It's going to be tight. And he gets back through. The most important thing at this point is to not make mistakes. A spin on the second last lap or final lap is out of the question. We cannot allow that to happen as we try and make the move. Not close enough. Meanwhile, in front of us, we have Kazunori Yamauchi catching up to the Cusco Impreza, getting through straight away. No issue there. So how are we going to go then as we catch up to the same lap car? Blue flags are out, and wherever we get through, no issues. Being very cooperative there. Been a tough race for the Cusco Impreza. They had really great pace early on, but that's all fallen apart towards the end, and they run in last position at the moment. We've caught up once again to Kaz, so let's see if we can make the move along the straight. We're within overtaking proximity. I think we just need to get a nice enough run onto the straight. That was a little bit awkward, but not too bad, and we should have a nice slingshot now. With the top end speed, we should be able to make the move on Kaz as we close in, and we will get past along the straight, as we also have another lapped car just up the road. It's a little Spoon S2000 He's moving all the way over across to the left-hand side there, and that gives us a very tight line, but we are able to get away with it as we head into the next braking zone. Oh dear. Oh, okay. Well, that was messy, but we maintained the race. That was messy, but we maintained the race lead ahead of the Schultz GTR. We got absolutely T-boned by them. We're starting the penultimate lap of the race now, unless this lap is extraordinarily long for one reason or another. This won't be the final lap of the race as we run very deep there. Schultz GTR trying to get the switchback. We've got to park it on the apex to make sure that doesn't happen. We hold on to the position. Spoon is still in front of us, heading into the braking zone now. See if we can get past them. That little car is actually pretty quick through this part of the circuit. You can see mid-corner speed terms there. Not too much worse off than us, but once we get onto the straights, they move out the way. So the Schultz GTR still piling on the pressure as we run deep there. Oh, they tried to get up the inside, but close. Just 2 laps to go in this 24-hour. We've got the lead. We're making a couple of mistakes here and there. Oh, another wide moment. Kaz gets back through, just like the previous lap. Let's see if we can retake the position here as we head to the outside. We'll make the move down the inside, and we will get the position back. Kaz going full send though, and he grabs the position too. So this is going back and forth, big lunge up the inside. Oh, we're going to just barely make the corner. We have to leave room for the big GTR on the outside as well. But we managed to make it work, and we both survive. And we get through, just about. The move's not done yet. We're still running side by side, 2 wheels in the grass. We're sliding, we catch it. But Kaz holds on to the position once again. This guy is near impossible to pass. This is tense. I genuinely don't know if we can win this race. Our saving grace is that we have good straight line speed and we have a huge straight towards the end of the lap. But any significant mistake at this point and it is game over. Looks like it's getting a bit cloudy again. I'm not sure if it's going to rain this time. Nothing on the radar, but you never know. Nurburgring could throw one last curveball in terms of weather. That would really just top it all off. Kaz was pretty quick in the rain earlier, so that could very much suit him. Until he spun, of course, but that could have been through a collision with another car. As of right now, I'm still yet to see the replay. You've seen the replay, you know what caused that. But me right now, I haven't, as we make a bit of contact with the back of Kaz. So, need to see if we can make a clean move. We're coming up to the carousel now. Can we throw it to the inside? We throw it in with a lot of speed, but the car doesn't stick. We hop out of the carousel. We are catching up to Kaz though towards the end of the back straight, so we might be able to make the move to the inside. He leaves the door open just about, closes it slightly at the last moment, but we get through. Carrying too much speed there though. Oh, we've done the same thing as the previous lap, exactly the same, but this time we keep a little bit of momentum. Kaz gets through, we don't get T-boned, as we now begin the final lap of the Nurburgring 24-hour. Kaz has made a pit stop on the final lap of the race. He pulls into the pit lane. That might secure a race victory for us. He's out of pit lane now. We're already well into our lap though. He'll be very quick on fresh tyres, and he wouldn't have put much fuel in, so that will be a mighty quick GTR. Make no mistake. Weather is all clear. We don't need to worry about that. So, just us, the track, and Kaz catching up on fresh tyres. The time has hit 0 now, so confirmation that this will be the final lap of the race. Oh my goodness, he's right there. Kaz has caught up to us very quickly. We've had a fairly clean lap. but on fresh tyres, he has monster pace. This is going to be very difficult to hold on to this position, given how quickly he's caught up. He's right on us. This is one of the most difficult parts of the circuit. We can survive this. I think we can survive just about anything. Slight graze with the wall. Oh, understeer. And he gets through. No. That could be game over. I'm gonna have to drive harder than I've driven all race if I want any chance of catching him again. My only hope is if he's already taken the zing out of those fresh tyres, pushing that hard to catch up. The pace may equalize a little bit. It looks like maybe it has. Don't know if we're gaining, but or he's just stopped pushing to the absolute max now that he's got the lead. Maybe he's thinking that's enough. Let's hope he's forgotten how quick we are in a straight line. No. We've made mistakes in the final sector on the previous 2 laps. So there's no guarantee until we cross the line. We keep it on the road there, that is critical. There's probably 3 tricky spots left on the circuit. There's one of them. We got through that okay. And we're catching up once again. We're definitely within overtaking range for the straight. It could be on here. Let's line this up. Get a good exit onto the straight. That was a little bit awkward, but it should be good enough. Power down. Are there any lap cars? That's another consideration as well. But here we go. Fuel's running out, but it doesn't matter. We're on the final lap, and we're going to make the move for the race lead to the outside. And we'll get the move done along the big straight. Now, we just need to get this last complex of corners right. It's very tricky. We've made a number of mistakes here. There's no second chances now. We bounce awkwardly off that curb. We're going to brake early. We have a bit of time up our sleeve, so we can afford to be cautious. And we get through there nicely enough. Can't believe I'm saying this, but with a move on the final lap, we're gonna do it. We're gonna win the Nurburgring 24-hour. My goodness, that was close. That was quite possibly the most nerve-wracking few corners, those last ones. We were cautious through there, but thanks to our straight line speed, we had the time up our sleeve and we were able to use that. We take race victory though, ahead of the Schultz Motorsport GTR Kazunori Yamauchi, bringing that one home in second position. That was a really fun scrap to the end though. Sabine Schmitz brings home third for BMW. Fantastic race. Held the lead for quite a while there in the last stint. Didn't quite go their way though. Didn't quite have the pace when push came to shove right at the end. Marizo brings the GR Supra home in fourth position. Fantastic result for that little car. And then the Alfa Romeo Larini bringing that one home in P5. Chris Meese in a P6 in the Audi A4, followed by Hans-Jochen Stuck in the Vauxhall. Shinichi Yamaji with a fantastic final stint, especially while it was raining. He brings home the RE Amamiya RX-7 in 8th position. P9 goes the way of Matt Campbell, dropping far away from the race lead they held for so long in the early stages of the race. But obviously that car was suffering from some kind of issues. It severely dropped off the pace. over the night and never really recovered. The Opel Astra rounds out the top 10, Manuel Ruta bringing that one home. Minoru Tanaka brings home the Wedsport Toyota in 11th position, followed by Boris Sed in the Chaparral 2D bringing home P12. Tsujio Matsuda, also a very good final stint, brings that Silvia up to P13. Marcus Winkelhock, a disaster final stint for him. He drops down into P14 after running very high up the field early in that final stint. Takayuki Kinoshita brings home the Falcon Star GTR in P15. That car was definitely capable of more, but luck just was not on their side today, unfortunately. P16 goes away of Maro Engel in the Mercedes. That car was also probably a little faster, but seemed to be very difficult to drive. Had a few spins and offs throughout the race, and they ultimately finished down in 16th position. P17 goes the way of the Autobacks Toyota. Turbo Asahi bringing that car home, and they'll be satisfied with a good day's work and a nice race finish for them. Shinichi Takagi brings home the ASL Garaya in 18th position. Disappointing day for them, really, all things considered. Solid run from Tetsuya Kuzawa and the Spoon S2000 team. They bring home at 19th position, and after a strong start to the race, the Cusco Impreza finishes down in last position. Well, that is going to just about do it for this one. It's been a long video, and to everyone who's made it to the end, I really do appreciate it. You are amazing. Feel free to give me some feedback in the comments. It is, of course, always very helpful. And let me know what race I should do next time in this series of endurance and long races in Gran Turismo. We've done the Bathurst 6 hour, a weird version of the Indy 500 at high speed ring, and then now, of course, the Nurburgring 24 hour. So what event, what motorsport should we recreate next here in this little series? Because I'm really enjoying it, but let me know. Other than that, like I was saying, thanks so much for watching all the way to the end. Feel free to leave some feedback in the comments, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye. stay down in the carousel. And now we lost time. We lost time. 'Cause we're not as close now. We lost time. We're not gonna pass them. We lost time. That we worked so hard for. We've lost time forever. Boink. And I can't quite believe we're gonna say this with a move on the final lap. We're gonna do it. Oops. This is a representation of my online racing career. Just nowhere in sight of the rest of the field. Just doing my own thing back here. But, you know, I'm having fun and smiling. Look at the car's smiling. He's loving life.